mention the names, but when you listen, they actually make it pretty easy to understand. And Anthony Patch is a Christian. I believe Kev
Yes.
Baker is a recently converted Christian. And you should know right off the bat, we should disclaim that we're going to talk about people. And, if it turns out we're decent enough at this that anyone ever wants to come and talk to us, we may even have people on the show. And no one should assume that we agree 100% with their doctrine. Or, well, not necessarily with their doctrine. I don't think I want to interview someone whose core doctrine I don't agree with. But, um, we may not go into things like rapture and timings of certain events and things like that because I think that they have a tendency to be divisive. And there are already so many people out there doing such a great job explaining those things. I don't feel qualified to do more than muddy the water and start fights. And so,
Yeah, and that's not what we're about.
no,
We want people to see what have a new perspective on some certain things, or maybe get just a different take on things you might have already um, been
right.
curious about, or ideas you kick around in your head, the what ifs, and you know.
Well, you know who I really want to speak to, Ryan? The ones who right up until they hear us think that those are ridiculous ideas. Giants in the earth.
Yeah.
Baking your own bread. So many people have been buying Wonder Bread for so long that seems like an outrageous thing. And I tell you that it is not. I do it, and I'm hapless and sloppy, and I usually can't find my spoons, and I do it. And just anyone can. And there's so many lies that Christians believe, and so many more lies that the unsaved believe. And God has been gracious to us
Indeed,
to show us the
yes.
truth about a lot of things. And God was gracious to other folks before us who dug those wells. The Fourth Watch and the Omega Frequency and Kev Baker and a lot of the other ones that we listened to. We went through uh, a long Chuck Missler phase
Chuck
where
Missler's great.
we
I
went
really
through all
enjoy
of
it.
his stuff. And again, I have to point out, we don't agree with every detail of the interpretation and future prophecies with everyone. And there's some historical events that we won't agree on the interpretations of. Um, but these are people that we learned a lot about the shape of the world from that no one in real life, no pastor in real life would even look at,
All right.
you know, would even study for themselves, much less study in order to be a guide and a
Yeah.
shepherd to us. So
Well, what is it you like to say? Not everybody is ever completely wrong, or
that's
something
right.
like that.
No one's wrong about everything.
No one's wrong
No
about
one no one's
everything.
wrong about it. I mean, think about it. Like even hippies, like the grody old dumb, liberal hippies, the ones that spit on veterans and stuff.
Yeah.
They really, in their ecological philosophy, of course, you get those people who spike trees and kill, lumberjacks and stuff. But in their ecological philosophies, Christians should have been heading that charge. This place is a gift and a blessing to us. And especially Americans. Think about all the people who live in deserts
Mm.
or even in,
Well, it's our whole country. Yeah.
rainforests, that are full of thorns and poisonous vipers. And we're very blessed, and we should be caring for it better than we do. And,
Right.
and so anyway, no one's wrong about everything. There's, and even if you just you've got to listen to everything. You have to. Well, not everybody, but once you've digested the Bible well enough to have some small skill at discerning, the truth from the lies, then you do kind of have to listen to everything because number one, you need to know what your enemy thinks and is saying, so you can refute them. Number two, they might have information that will be useful to you, and truth or not truth of information is what's important about it, right?
No,
God is no respecter of persons, so neither is truth.
a fact.
So let's see what we have here, Bisky. Um, oh, right. So we left. We got 10 minutes left. So we'll finish up the us. Let's boogie to finish up who are we,
Okay.
and then we'll work on individuals next
Okay.
tomorrow or whenever we
Individuals. Yeah, we.
get back to that. So So we went through a few churches and we landed in the Reformed Church.
This is
So we went from the footloose and fancy-free Episcopalians to the Dutchest and uprightest of uprightists in the, what were they called? The Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches. Doug Wilson's outfit.
yeah.
I saw on a Puritan board posting to drive 100 miles to go to church rather than go to one of those churches. But, Bisky, we're rebels, aren't we?
Yeah.
We went anyway.
That's right. The underground church. How'd you guys find us?
They really said that. They were shocked.
Yeah.
Not
Right here in our own little hometown.
not necessarily pleased shocked. You know.
No, nope. Yeah, you look like a biker, man. Are you sure this is a wedding reception hall? Your event's probably next weekend. What are you
That's
doing
right.
here?
They did meet. They
Oh,
did
like
rent
for church.
a wedding reception hall for their church.
Yeah.
They had a lot of money in the bank, but they wouldn't buy a building.
Right.
They had no sign, no,
Story for another day.
no street sign, no advertising
Nope.
of any kind.
And there was like 5 families in there, but like 300 people because they're all.
Yeah. So, yes, that is where we learned. This is the important thing. This is the next important thing. One thing that we've picked up in all of our journeys is a lot of things about what not to do. But this church actually taught us a lot about what to do, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are now homeschooling parents, which we were not before.
We are.
They taught us that wonderful, beautiful thing. I'll be forever grateful. I just finished my first year of that, and it was wonderful. And our 6-year-old can read like a champ. I mean, she can read a King James. Not that she knows what they all mean, but she can really sound a word out. She's I'm not biased at all. She's fantastic. She had a great teacher.
Yeah, she's a great kid.
But anyway, and we learned a lot about headship, and I really learned to think about, Ryan's authority in Christ and in his position as, the head of the home and a covering. I learned a lot about covering. We even had a girl who wore head covering full time in the church, and we learned a lot about family and the way to love each other properly, or at least the way to demonstrate love. They were a cold bunch, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
we did learn a lot about that, and because of that, we're rolling stones, but we do pick up moss wherever we go, and so now we're a crunchy essential oil using homeschool family. We do not vaccinate. Ryan uses Tom's deodorant. But we don't eat a lot of organic food because we're also kind of poor.
Yeah.
We do the best we can. Our philosophy kind of is that if you eat the food God gives you and you do the work God gives you, your body will kind of take care of itself. So we do the best we can.
Yeah, and my
with
wife
that.
fries the best chicken in the state, so.
That is true. That is true. I can agree with that because that is my grandma's doing. That's not my fried chicken. That's her recipe, and she taught me how. And so I would dishonor her if I did anything but say that is indeed some of the best fried chicken you'll ever eat.
Right. And I'm very blessed, and we have 3 wonderful children at home, and they're all they're a lot of fun. The oldest of those 3 just finished her first year of homeschooling, and but I'm blessed. I come home every day after working, and my family is here, and dinner is ready, and we spend time together every night, and worship together at night, and I'm a very blessed man.
So, I don't mean to cut you off, Biscuit, but we've only got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Here's the important thing. We can talk to folks, and we have a message to spread to a lot of people that they may not think just yet, because all of these things are kind of a blind, aren't they? They're all real recent developments.
Sure.
Ryan Bisky, you're going to have to pew over top of that one again, or else we'll just give up our
You've said it
anonymity.
about 5 or 10 times.
Well, it's your name, and I love you.
I know. That's cool. I love you too.
So, you if you can briefly, um, we need to upgrade our account. We're running out of time. Um, it gave me a pop up.
Excellent.
So, you were once a.
Drug addict
That is correct.
or Eagle Scout?
Oh, well, I was going for
I
drug
wasn't.
addict. We're,
I
we're
wasn't
going
sure.
down the bad road.
Okay.
We're
Wasn't
going.
sure
We're
which way you were going.
no.
Where
This
you were
is no.
starting.
This is the surprise where we tell them how horrible we were,
Yeah.
because we want to end with the gospel,
Yeah.
and so we're telling them who we are as a couple.
Okay.
We met in a 12-step program, and you were there because you can tell your story in like a minute.
Yeah. I had a huge cocaine problem. A lot of money. Therefore, could buy a lot of dope, and I did. And my dealer ratted me out. I did a couple of years in the pokey, the federal pokey. But in between being arrested and actually getting sentenced, I was in 12-step programs and rehab, outpatient rehab, and that's where I met my wife. And look back on it now, the place is like a cult. I'm
Yes.
glad we rescued each other.
Yes, it is, and we will expose that terrible cult
Right.
on a show
That was
because
just a little tidbit teaser.
yet again we know that that's one thing that we know inside and out that many people may not have much experience with. And my own experience with drugs and that type of thing was much more general than Bisky's. It never had any legal consequences or physical consequences. I ended up in a 12-step program just from being, as they say in the program, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I knew about NA from some earlier experiences, and that's where I went. And so, I've got lots of stories to tell, but my actual overarching story is pretty basic and boring. I was one of those like, oh, you have drugs? Yes, please. Not a chaser. Never had like my own personal dealer or anything like that. It was just this constant round of being out in places where those things were all the time, so that it was happening all the time.
Yeah. I always wanted
I
to
was
make
not
it
a turner
happen all the
down.
time.
Yeah, I was not a turner down, but I wasn't a maker happen either. So anyhow, and before that, I was a single mother. I've been, abandoned with 3 children by a husband and had to raise them alone. Bisky's been, single and,
A string of terrible relationships.
yeah, preyed upon by girlfriends that after he won the lottery. That's a fun story you'll get to hear one day. And he's been an Eagle Scout and a good boy and a terrible boy. And, I'm a nerd and an A-plus student and also, a single mother and a drug abuser. And now we're saved people who've been Episcopalians, Southern Baptists,
Ultra reformed
ultra
Dutchman.
ultra Dutch reformed, and now we're a member of the remnant. We had church in our home today. We'll do it again soon. We haven't fully committed to home church. But anyway, the point of all of this, we want to end with the message that Jesus saves.
Indeed.
That you haven't been anywhere, and you won't go anywhere low down that Bisky and I haven't been. Neither have your children that you might be praying for, or your mother, or husband, or brother and sister. Almost none of you have probably seen anything that we haven't seen, or heard anything that we haven't heard. And we cried out to God, and He saved us. And He'll do the same for you, won't He, Bisky?
It will.
30 seconds. Carry us out.
Thank you very much for listening. We hope that we will be and are and have been a blessing to you. And we thank you again for tuning in, and we look forward to doing this again real soon. Good night.